Woo! I was about to start off with it. It's Monday, but y'all, it's not Monday. It's Friday. It's your girl Candy K. Lynn,
And your boy Shout Town Shout.
and it's 9 o'clock, so it's time to
Pull up.
guys. We could not end the 2021 year without finishing season 3. We know we've been MIA for a while, but charge it to the game and employment. So we are finishing up the season. We are working on updates to get ready for you for next year. We are changing dates, maybe not times, but we had to come together and send you off in 2021 because it's been another year.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Another year. Like, right? Just I'll just leave it like that. So there's so much going on in the world. We've missed some stuff. We wanted to get some stuff in. We just wanted to recap what this year has been like. And so I was going to start from the front to the back, but things kept happening, right? So today we got the message that legendary actress that everybody's been talking about and she's been holding on was Betty White,
Mm-hmm.
a golden girl, right? And if you have a grandma that's not 50, if your grandma was, 80-ish, if your grandma was born in the 20s or the 30s, you probably understand what it was like to grow up watching Golden Girls,
Facts.
right? You and to think about a time when it wasn't about race, these were four white women, retired, living in Florida. Just you like the Golden Girls. So,
Mm-hmm.
rest in peace to Betty White. 99 years is a very, very long time.
It's
Um,
Betty White lived a good life. I feel like that's one of them joyous occasions, not one of them sad. It should have been, I don't think Betty did everything she wanted to do.
I'm sure. I'm
So
sure she
instead of
made
being
money.
sad, it should have been, I was sad to see Betty go, but it was her time, and let's praise her. Pray
99
again.
years is a long time. I'm like, you know what, Betty White? I mean, and then, let's just be real, right? People need human contact. Through what we've been dealing with COVID for 2.5 years now going on, like 2 years. We're at 24 months on this. We thought it was going away. COVID is still here. It's back with Amarion showed up dancing his way across the stage is, you know, and the only way we can make light of it. So you think about that, like somebody like Betty White, who had been out and would show up at red carpet events and was still doing talk shows. This kind of thing takes a toll on people, their
Mm-hmm.
mental health, their overall health, and what they need. And so, rest in peace, Betty White. Also, John Madden. So I think for us in the sports world, that was really, really tough. Because everything that I do with this voice, and I may start crying, oh my God, it is. I remember somebody told me that in order to get into journalism, you need to memorize voices. There need to be some voices in your head that no matter what you're doing, you don't have to see them. You know who it is. And for me, John Madden and Oprah are my two. Like Bob Costas, it doesn't matter where I'm I can be anywhere. I can be asleep. And if I hear John Madden's voice, I know Madden's voice. On a YouTube video, I don't have to see his face. I know his voice. It's iconic and it's sketched in my head. So, again, 85 years old, legendary commentator. He worked for every one of the major networks. He
Mm-hmm.
called 11 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
He was the youngest head football coach when he coached the Oakland Raiders, who are now the Las Vegas Raiders. So I know that's difficult for Raider Nation. And shout out to Marcus Green because that's where I first saw it. I was scrolling on Facebook and, he had posted that Madden had passed and that's where I saw it from. So, and then of course he lent his name to a game that will live long
Yeah,
after most of us are gone. So, what are your takes on the life of John Madden?
that was tough. Man, 94 first game I ever owned. So wasn't Sonic, but the first sporting game I ever owned was Madden '94. I never forget going to GameStop in Duncanville off Redbird, again and picking it up. Like I never forget going to the GameStop again. So it's like the whole John Madden. It was like Betty White hit, but man, was like, dang, where they come from? Like minus Golden Girls. There's other things I seen Betty White in, but it's not like Betty White's in it. I have to go see it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing
Right.
against Betty White, but Golden Girls, she like that's for sure gonna be. no matter who. I can't speak for nobody else, but for me, Golden Girls was like a fave, right? So with John Madden, it hit different though. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember Super Bowls and just how he called the games and him and Pat Summerall, and you know they had a different vibe to them. And then once Pat went away, I think Al Michaels did it with John Madden for a
Mhm.
little bit, but it was just like you say, it was just
The bus, the
huh?
fact that he rode by bus.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to remember when John Madden did Thanksgiving, you had the turkeys with
Yeah,
a leg. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like everybody kind of got a leg. So the, the John Madden is in that atmosphere of Craig Sager, right?
yeah.
It ain't many people that it ain't many people that's not of this skin tone that when they pass it hit, but it was just because who they are, and you could tell who they were because the people around them loved them. Like Kevin Garnett loved Craig Sager. So
Oh
what
god.
they say about Craig Sager,
Oh yeah, and
right?
he talks about him in his book, right? So that's a part of 2021 for me. I still have to watch his Showtime special, but Kevin Garnett, and as we're talking on sports, Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant went into the Hall of Fame this year.
Mm-hmm.
And for anybody who knows me, they know that Kevin and Kobe are my faves. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, there's Kobe, there's Michael. Like that's it. That's all on that list with Julio Franco and Ken Griffey Jr. Like
Mm-hmm.
period, poo, as the kids say. So Kevin talked about that in his book, his love for Craig Saber and Craig's personality and the back and forth. And that's the same thing with the John Maddens. It's what they bring to the game and what
Mm-hmm.
people around them salute them once they're gone. Because when
Mm-hmm.
people don't like you, they shy away from saying anything, right? There's no tributes and naming and streets named after you, days named after you, respect to you in the game once it's done. So,
Mm-hmm.
John Madden is a legend. So I want to break it up. We've talked a little about death. We talked about I went to a little bit about that Kobe and Kevin and Tim Duncan went into the Hall of Fame this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big names for basketball, their accomplishments, what they did for the game. Um, Another year, another team, another Tom Brady Super Bowl. We started the year with Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl, so we can't forget about the Buccaneers winning a Super Bowl. And from that win, I heard that Letwich was on that list for that Jacksonville head coaching position. So we talked about what they were able to do over there with the defensive core and the African American coaches finally getting their opportunities at the professional level.
Yeah,
Um,
worst job in America though.
what the Jacksonville head coaching job? Because
Yeah.
we can't forget because Urban Meyer, like drama. 2020 and 2021 have been like drama filled and
I know
sports
if
and hip hop
I
and look
told y'all like
politics.
the the thing that people don't, that's why I'm talk. But people don't listen to me. Folks be like, "How you feel about Herman?" We gotta see, because everywhere he go, he run because he really not that good of a coach. He can get in college. He was able to get good talent there, but as far as coaching go, coaching is making men better. That's not what he do, right? And every stop you seen that in college, like So
He's actually
him
he's
coming here
actually
and
he's
trying to,
actually a shit show.
he's not a good coach.
He's a shit show. Like
Yeah, he's not a good coach.
literally, when I took time to read and listen to the interview with the kicker, Ohio State, there was the coach that you were protecting that had the domestic violence. Everything happened in Florida with Aaron Hernandez. We see how that ended, right? You knew what was going on. For me, my issue with Urban Myers is he hides behind God. He is one of those that he hides so heavily behind God that I think it took all of this, as you said, to expose that he's really not a good coach. When
And
players,
again, as a Florida fan, like you know about the Aaron Hernandez situation, but you don't know about Percy Harvin punching Billy Gonzalez in the mouth, right? Like there's Cam Newton stealing a computer. There was at Florida at that time they were doing whatever they wanted to, right? The Pouncy bro, like not only was Aaron Hernandez shooting at people, like everybody on the team knew. So like with
so
the
if
Aaron
they knew, he
Hernandez case,
knew.
I didn't see the documentary, but I guarantee you, what many Florida players on the documentary.
They
I bet
weren't.
it wasn't many of them because again, they knew. They already
But
knew how he
Urban
was
Meyer
coming.
knew, and that's what I'm saying about
Yeah.
coaching, right? The plight of coaching and who you are and the ability, right? So we're interviewing, like Dan Quinn was on that list. They say Dan Quinn didn't take an interview. Kellen Moore was on that list. I'm not really sure why he was on that list because the Cowboys won big last week. I ain't convinced with him either. But with Urban Meyer, as you said, you're more in tune to what goes on with Florida.
Put it
You
like
read
this:
the bits
Kellen
and pieces.
Moore is calling more plays tuned to Dak than Jason Garrett was, but I agree.
Right, but that doesn't make you a great coach. And that's what we have to look at, right? Philosophy scheme. Urban Meyer never needs to coach again. That's where I stand on it at this point. Professionalism is what everybody talks about. And the things that he did just in less than 6 months in Jacksonville, like you didn't even make out a whole year that the owner had to come in and fire you. There's no reason for us to be interviewing him anywhere else for a job. He needs to go back and I don't even know if anybody wants him back on TV because I didn't think he was that good there either. Just go home. You've made enough money. Go coach
Nah,
your
you can't go home because your wife don't want you there.
Yes,
Because
she does.
again,
Yes, she
he
does.
left Florida because of heart problems.
Right, and he may have had
But
heart
then
problems
two,
at that
three
time.
years later, you surface at Ohio State.
Yeah, he may have had heart problems at that time. People go through a lot. From a coaching perspective, if 2021 didn't give me anything, I tell anybody coaching is not easy. Okay. It sounds a lot easier than it looks. It is a lot of stress. It is a lot of anxiety. It is a lot of sleepless nights because you want to get it right. You want to position your players so that they have the opportunity to have fun but also win. So I'm not saying he didn't have heart problems. I'm just saying, as a leader, the way he presents himself and the way that he actually is, Jacksonville has a rookie quarterback in Trevor Lawrence that has been overshadowed by a bad coach this season with
And
chaos
it look
and
like he can't play football.
exactly. Well, can no one, and that's what they talk about, right? So my spiritual studies, starving distractions. If every time you go to do a press conference, you're talking about the antics of your coach, how can you develop as a football player? Because you're always being text. These text
Mm-hmm.
messages are coming. Your alerts on Twitter are going off. These things are constantly happening. So no, he doesn't, and he's not getting because he's Urban Meyer obviously wasn't pouring into his team what he needed to be pouring into his team because he wouldn't have had so much free time to do other things. So good luck to Jacksonville fans, aka Mr. Shaw, and getting a new coach. But we're at the end of the season. It ain't fixable this year. Try again next year. Um, Also, while we're on the sports world, as you see, I'm representing tonight for the Prairie View A&M University. HBCUs are trending. They are hot. They are popular. Shout out to Meg the Stallion, who graduated from Texas Southern University, aka the 13th grade, this year with her bachelor's degree. And the reason why Meg is important is because she is a female rapper. Nike has now gotten her involved. If you go through the Nike app, there's, she used to be a Panther doll at Prairie View before she went to Texas Southern, and now it's important to talk to us. It's important to get our opinions. But what Meg did is a salute to women and men all over the world. You can chase your dreams, but you can also get your education. Because let's remember, not too long ago, she was in a bad deal with Carl Crawford. And I think that was at the first of this year. So
Mm-hmm.
she went from that bad deal to being one of the hottest performers, winning a Grammy, graduating in the same year. So shout out to anybody who has a dream. I'm all for young people pursuing your dream. If you love music, pursue music. That doesn't mean leave school. There's a lot of things that you can get done if you prioritize and hustle. So shout out to Meg for keeping HBCUs trending because since Deion Sanders joined Jackson State, I'm sure y'all were wondering, how do we go from sports to Meg? That was a tie-in. I'm going from TSU to JSU to PVU. It all goes together. So Deion Sanders, aka Prime Time, is at Jackson State University coaching football year 2. He's shaking things up. He's shaking things up in college football. No?
Nah, my eye looks so lazy and it threw me off. No, he is definitely shaking things up in college football. He had he had Florida State fans hot and heavily bothered.
Why were they hot, Mr. Shaw? Because I don't think we had a chance to talk about this. Why were they
They were
hot?
hot because the number one cornerback in the nation said, "Hey, you know what? It doesn't hurt for me to go try JSU. I'm gonna be on TV. Scouts gonna get to see me. Why not? Why not? Alabama versus Georgia in the national championship game. It's crazy. It's crazy. Can nobody really play? I really feel like the SEC teams deserve two teams in for sure. Like it should be a guarantee too, and then the third one should get the opportunity because I didn't see what Bama finished doing in Cincinnati because we wrapping up the season, right? We're wrapping up the 2021 year.
Well, yeah, you kind of got off topic, but go
I'm
ahead.
just saying because
You jumped from Jackson State to Alabama and Georgia.
I'm just
That's
saying
not what we were.
the
We weren't
reason why they
doing that.
mad. The reason why
Why?
they mad because
Okay,
JSU
fine.
not getting the BCS championship game,
Of course not. Of
right?
course.
But the teams is getting that's how it tied in. But it was just like the SEC. But Nick Saban not
And
mad.
the game just finished, so you were.
It just finished.
I don't know. I was
I
asking
think
you,
it was
but
at halftime.
okay.
No, and that's what I'm saying. It, it just at half. It's just at halftime, and Michigan got 3 points.
So what's the score in that game?
27-3.
So yeah, we'll see Alabama and Georgia in the national championship.
You know what I'm saying? So again, that's why with the tie-in. But with JSU, Deion is creeping. Now Alabama's not worried. That's one of the reasons Nick Saban did the commercial with him, right? He like, hey, let Prime go get some of these. Because again, Prime gonna get the players. A lot of players from other schools to transfer portal. Let's transfer to JSU, right? So the fans were just mad because the kid flat out said, hey, I can go try JSU. If it don't work out, I can hit the transfer portal. Plain and simple.
But
He,
here's the
he
thing.
made he made a great business decision.
Here's the thing. Alabama's Nick Saban, right? Deion Sanders is Deion Sanders, who was Deion Sanders before there was a Nick Saban.
For sure.
Right? We're talking Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Famer, professional baseball player. Deion brings the people.
But he probably the greatest football coach of all time, college football coach of all time.
He is, but when we're having conversations, people know Prime.
For sure. Right?
And the amount of attention that Prime has received down at Jackson State says, why do I have to go to Alabama?
The amount of attention that Prime will generate for you.
Right. That's all for Jackson State. And Jackson State. And so to say that, at first we were watching from afar, but shout out to PVAMU, shout out to Panther football. I'm not gonna get on Coach Dooley today. I'm gonna let it make it. I'm gonna wait on us to get a new coach. But he did lead us to the SWAC championship game where Prairie View faced off at Jackson State. Jackson State had home field advantage because the SWAC commissioner, which is also a PVMU grad, decided, hey, whoever gets home field advantage, your money stays at home. We're not paying to rent out a facility. You get to stay at home. It's like home field advantage. And let me tell you something. Down there at Jackson State, first of all, they follow their team because there's nothing else to do in Jackson, Mississippi. Okay? For 3 towns over, there's absolutely nothing to do. You knew you were in the country. But they believe in what Deion Sanders is selling at Jackson State. So when you have fans that will ride with you and their attendance in the Mercedes-Benz Center once they went in for and played the MEAC Challenge against, God, I can't even think of who it was right now, but South Carolina, one of South Carolina teams in the SWAC. I mean, in the MEAC. No, South Carolina State. I think.
I don't know much about them.
Yeah, we don't see them, but they put in 48,000 people in the stadium. Okay, so the deal is the SWAC is on ESPNU. Those Thursday night games that are difficult, no one gets to watch. It's hard to have watch parties. It's difficult for people to get to on campus, especially in a Prairie View, right? You live in Jackson. A lot of people still live in Jackson. Nobody lives in Prairie View that graduated from Prairie View. Okay, like you leave. You live in Houston. Even if you live in Houston, getting to the yard on a Thursday night can be difficult by 7:30. So Jackson State and what Deion is able to do is now can the SWAC negotiate and show that there's going to be enough fans that there can eventually be ESPN games and not just ESPNU games. We know that the scouts are there. We know that you have opportunity to look at the NFL because
Mm-hmm.
if no one else can get you there, Deion Sanders knows how to get to professional baseball and the NFL. He's done both. So I trust him, is what the kids are saying. And the culture behind JSU. HBCUs are trending because one of the things about it is these kids have seen George Floyd lose his life. Okay? They've seen Breonna Taylor. They've seen Sandra Bland. They have social media. They understand that at these schools, they are luxury items. I guess that's the nicest way I can say it. NIL has now created opportunities for these kids to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Deion has nothing to lose.
Everything in the game.
Under Armour already has a deal with him. So he's not breaking off what the kids can make. Deion Sanders is getting young kids $1 million payday. I think the choice is obvious. These kids are getting to go play in environments where they feel most comfortable and not just comfortable on the football field.
I ain't mad at prom, and anybody who is a hater, he comes still recruits from Florida. Y'all won't recruit hard enough. Billy Napier, whoever our coach is now, you won't recruit hard enough.
Well, what about the kids that have been sitting on the bench for years? What about those kids? What about all the young talent that never got an opportunity to shine because the portal wasn't available?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the portal is now available. Places like Jackson State, Prairie View, Grambling. Hugh Jackson is now at Grambling. Eddie George is now at Tennessee State. Why not transfer?
Because you
Why
just
not
trying,
leave
if you're trying to
Oklahoma?
get to the league.
You can't get there sitting on the bench.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes it is.
Matter of
It's
fact,
not.
Florida had Emory Jones transferred to JSU.
Young kid from Cedar Hill transferred. He's been in like Indiana and somewhere else. He's headed to JSU.
Yeah.
So he's got the talent. And now it's a vitable opportunity, is what people see it as. And that's why we keep saying, hey, Prairie View, when you hire a coach, just send the kid, just make contact with the kids. You never know what athletes have interest in your university until you make contact with them.
Facts.
And at this point, you really don't have to sell them on anything but playing time. NIL deals and playing time. NIL deals and playing time. So that's where we are. But we were attending the HBCUs before they were trending, when they weren't so popular. And a teacher told me once that he didn't know why I was going to Prairie View because everybody drops out after their freshman year. That's how they viewed HBCUs. And, look at me now. So,
Okay.
so just a little bit more as we go back into our review of hip hop. We didn't talk about. I wanted to break it up from death, but there was a lot of it this year. DMX,
R.I.P.
DMX. We lost DMX this year, and we did a recap early on. Refer to previous episodes with DMX. We will get those uploaded, and I will link it so you'll know. But DMX had a very, very successful career in the music business. Unfortunately, sometimes our weaknesses get the best of us, and I think for DMX, allegedly it was, information showed that it was suicide related.
Mm.
So that's always very
You
difficult.
said that, I couldn't even tell no joke after that.
Yeah, it's not a joke. But you want to tell jokes. I don't know if you really should tell jokes either, because hip hop was filled with death.
About this pudding, I know not to eat it because it says not for individual sale. So you're not supposed to eat nothing that says that. Continue.
I think anyway. Uh, so I would sum hip hop up. I did a show a few weeks ago, and I did a show called Scenario Radio, and they asked me to basically sum up hip hop. And I forgot to just say violence and beef. That's what 2021 hip hop music scene looked like for so many. Dallas artist Mo3 lost his life to gun violence literally on the highway. That was last year, right? Young
Oh,
Dolph this
2020.
year. Yeah, that was 2020. So this year, Young Dolph was killed. And a comedian in Memphis that laughed at Young Dolph was killed a few weeks later.
For real.
So, um, I don't know. I don't.
You know what? Not listen to the music. It promote violence. It promote violence. The music promote violence. And I was listening, and one of the rappers, ESTG, he be talking. He be talking that talk. But he said, you can't call yourself my little bro if you ain't got no body. And I had made a, because sometimes I think I'm gonna start doing that more. I dissect the songs and then get my take on it. But when he said that, I said to myself, like, how can I, not knocking him because that's where he come from, but how can I call myself your big brother if I got you out here catching bodies, and that's putting, you know what I'm saying, your livelihood in jeopardy because you got them, they gonna be trying to get you, the cops gonna be trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, like, so the music definitely promotes violence, but I think what the younger generation is missing is music. It's an art form, and they're just trying to entertain you, right? Whether they telling real stories or telling lies, they not telling you to go out and catch a body. Even though ESTG said in the song that where I'm from, if you don't got a body, then either we can't have a conversation or you don't mean nothing. But that's what they come from, and a lot the music do promote violence. But let me tell you, I'm so tired of this younger generation. They just say anything. So there's a black Spider-Man. Miles Morales. He's half black, half Hispanic, right? They want NBA young boy to be my. Shut. Get out. Get out. Got pissed me off. He can't even
So
talk. How you gonna be? How you gonna play
so
Spider Man?
so listen, their whole life is based on Young Boy, right? So there's like this running joke at school that NBA Young Boy is one of our students. Like that's the running joke because that's all you hear all day. That's all you hear. If the headphones come out, it's all about NBA Young Boy. So I am not in the least bit surprised that they wanted NBA Young Boy to play Spider Man. I, I'm not.
They feel like he fit the Disney.
But here's the thing, right? So on a quick take on that, when you say there's music that talks about catching a body, it is you were too young probably to remember when it first started, but I know you were old enough to remember that you couldn't go into the store and buy CDs on your own if you were
Mm-hmm.
under 18.
Mm-hmm.
So
Parental
the whole
parental
parental
stress
advisory.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole Two Live Crew thing in the early 90s, NWA prompted because kids that did not look like us were getting into hip hop, which they are now. And if everybody looks at it, how it's playing out. And as an adult, I felt like Tipper Gore. I told our sister the other day, I said, I feel like Tipper Gore going, this is violent. We need to do something, right? I grew up on the late 80s, early 90s of hip hop. So I understand, the whole NWA thing, 3 6 Mafia in the court cases, Two Live Crew and Uncle Luke in the court cases, Tupac, and I get it. But these kids are not being able to decipher
Because ain't
hip
nobody
hop
talking to.
stories and somebody else's reality. They're out here trying to create NBA young boys. His drama becomes their drama. It becomes their reality, you know. And I really don't know how we can solve that because I think it's the entertainer's responsibility to be responsible. It's my responsibility on this platform to watch what I say. And we've seen that more and more. But is it my responsibility to tell a story that's not my story and then come sit down with you and explain to you what it means, hoping that a kid gets it in their hand to understand? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
It makes sense.
And that's basically where we are because these kids are just not understanding. He caught a body. It didn't. He may have been telling his homeboy that's a prison story. It may have not been his story to begin with,
They don't
So
get that.
it's just a difficult journey of asking artists to, hey, don't share your story. Don't be a great storyteller. Don't, string together stories lyrically over a beat because hip hop is something amazing when you stop and think about the talent that is required to write a verse, 16 bars, get the perfect hook, rap it over a beat, perfect
You know the
it,
crazy thing, if
and
you
tell
think
a
about it,
story.
everything Shakespeare was violent. Like so,
Don't even get me started on Shakespeare. I think
now think about it.
that's
If we go back through any literature history, it had some stem of violence. So I think I can't even really blame the rappers now. I think about it. What is the Odyssey? Violence,
what is Romeo and Juliet.
violence. What is the Trojan War? Violence. So
So
all they
we
doing is
absolutely
cap.
we I just had this conversation. We just had this conversation the other night, and you weren't even there. I think Romeo and Juliet is the worst piece of literature to introduce, especially in this society. Ninth graders too, where we discuss being in love and suicide. And
Yeah,
I thought way back in 1997 it was trash, and
I
people
ain't
were
never
going,
really. I know the story, so I'm not. I'm not. If I know a story, then I don't have to be in tune when we reading the story because I know the story. So once you start getting to the pages of the family, the families didn't like each other, and they stopped. They loved each other so much they killed themselves.
and
That's the buyout.
obviously I'm a lover of literature, but at 13, right? 13, 14, I thought Romeo and Juliet was trash. And I think
Yeah.
it is a terrible, and right, you and I are saying this. We're saying,
No horror
hey,
story. We gonna
yeah,
knock like that. We
we're
not.
we're, we're saying hip
Mm.
hop is
It's
teetering on the fine
entertainment.
line. Right. And we're saying the same thing about literature. So I need everybody to keep the same energy. I think is all you and I are saying.
Whoever wrote and came up with Freddy Krueger, we don't. Yeah, bless it to you, little bro. But nah, we don't. If you just think about it, nobody knocks a
Nobody
Jason
knocks
or a
it.
Freddy movie,
No, it's terrible.
and it's violence.
So, and again, and that's where you and I are on being lovers of hip hop. I just wish that the kids had a different understanding of what hip hop is
They
supposed to
parents
be.
slow.
Yeah, they are. So, a few more things before we get out of here. Favorite TV shows. So, TV has been pretty good. And y'all, I know we didn't cover everything that's happened this year. We tried to give you a briefing, but of course, we've got to give you the rest of this and then give you a little motivation vision for the new year. So, for me, Insecure wrapped up after 5 seasons. I don't know if you watched an episode. I'm sure
Hmm.
you watched an episode.
I was at a homegirl house, but I seen it.
Okay, you seen the finale?
No,
Oh, okay. Well, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Do not listen if you haven't seen the finale. Issa chose Lawrence. So I'm excited because I did not like Nathan. Okay, for anybody who's watching, you can DM me, you can email me, and we can talk about Nathan's ghosting ass and his mental health. But she chose Lawrence, and I love what, if you watch the after show, Issa has been a lot of inspiration for me of what I want to do of getting in a writer's room. How Black stories are told, that sometimes they don't include trauma. Sometimes they don't include, they do the drama in a messy but unmessy way to tell the story but come up with a resolution. So Insecure is officially in the books. They're in cultural history next to Different Worlds, next to Martin, next to Living Single. So salute to Issa Rae, who is, who came from creating her own show on YouTube to landing a deal there at HBO. So it's bigger than the stories. And so salute to Insecure and the entire cast for 5 seasons of great work. We appreciate you here in the culture, and you are officially a part of the culture. Mr. Shaw, what is your favorite show of what have you been watching this year? Nothing?
nah. I've been watching some stuff. It was good. I mean, Marvel had good shows. Marvel had good shows all year. Well, I guess I go Falcon and Winter Soldier because we seen the first Black Captain America. Right,
Okay.
so that's powerful, and that's gonna be major when that comes back. I watch a lot of anime, so and then the other TV shows because I ain't watch Flash.
Did you watch BMF?
Definitely. Raising Canaan too.
I can't stop the rain.
BMF was, and again, when BMF come back, I'm not gonna watch it till it concludes. Because what I've realized about the Power series, I don't like watching them episode for episode. It
You
don't it
need
don't
the
feel
series at one time.
yeah. I also
Okay.
finished Godfather of Harlem, both
Okay.
seasons. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you're caught up on Godfather of Harlem. I
Mm-hmm.
agree. I almost forgot about Raising Canaan, right? Because we've gotten, and shout out to 50 Cent. Y'all know I am not a 50 fan. Anybody who follows me, 50 is petty as hell. But here at Pull Up the Podcast, baby, that's why I love Issa. Um, Issa's kind of my Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant. I'm rooting for everybody that's black. And what 50 is being able to create with being a part of the Power series, they've got Power 2, the Book of Ghosts, they've got Raising Canaan. Great content is being created and produced.
Mm-hmm.
And, I just wish that we would stop comparing. Maybe because he's producing everything now, we don't have to get into these petty spats of what's going back and forth, because I remember him talking so much about Empire and Power being so much better. Well, let me tell you, black people, Fox has a new show called Monarch that's coming. It's about country music and the royal family, which is nothing but a steal from Empire. So everything that we do great, they come back and do it again. So that's why we need to support each other, keep these series running, and show love, and talk about them. So if you have not watched, and as Mr. Shaw says, for some of you guys, you need to wait till it's over with, right? Wait till you can get all the Power. You can watch it at one time. What's his name? Oh gosh, what's his name? The star of Power. What's Tyreek? What's his real name?
Michael Rainey.
Michael Rainey. Man, shout out to Michael Rainey. He has become a dope young actor. I'm excited about what he's going to be able to do in the future because he's leading this. And let's talk about Mary J. Blige, right? Auntie Mary has not done bad. Auntie Mary is doing a pretty good job so far in this series, but I'm just excited to see so many black actors. And then when we talk about BMF, let's talk about how Lil Meech wasn't originally an actor. And he is on an episode of All the Smoke with
Matt Barnes,
Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and he talks about the investment that 50 put into him to get him into acting school, so that when it was time to audition for that role, he presented himself as an actor. It wasn't a situation of someone's handing you something. He was ready to come in and give us Detroit. What up, though? To give us authentic Detroit, to tell his dad's story, and to create another piece of, TV culture history. So shout out to BMF. Can't wait for them. New seasons of Snowfall is coming in 2022. New seasons of Godfather of Harlem are coming. And Mr. Shaw, you know what I was thinking about
and
before
Wu Tang. That's
I
my
haven't watched that.
Wu Tang.
So I need to get on it.
Let me tell y'all something. If you haven't watched Wu Tang, the story season 1 was great. But season
Okay.
2 was powerful because every episode it was telling you the story of their growth and their process. And yeah.
Okay. And listen, you talk about Wu Tang, then there's Redman and Method Man making their appearances in Power. Hip hop, man, cheers to hip hop.
Cheers
Cheers
to
to
hip
hip
hop
hop
because
in the
all of the
crossovers.
actors, man, bro, y'all again, you
Cheers.
know them like Meth,
Yeah.
Dave East, bro. There's not Method Man, not Method Man no more. Dave East is Method Man now. That's Old Dirty Bastard, not Old Dirty Bastard no more. The dude playing Old Dirty is Old Dirty. Like these characters have been, you got to watch it.
Evolving. And I will, right? And so final salute to hip hop. LL Cool J, Jay-Z, Hove, H to the OV were nominated. They were placed in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And if you did not see Jay-Z's acceptance speech, you should watch it because Dave Chappelle does what only Dave Chappelle can do. He introduced Jay-Z in a way that, you bring comedy to hip hop, that's what you get. So salute to them. So as we wrap up this final episode of the year, I just finished church service before this show started, and our pastor Brian Carter of Concord Church of Dallas preached the message on the fourth leg and finishing. So For those of you who need to be encouraged, no matter what happened this year, I want you guys to take with you into 2022 to remember to be thankful for what the works that were started within you this year. I
Sorry,
can't even
excuse
have
me,
a
bro.
religious moment because he belched. Y'all, he was not raised by wolves. I just want y'all to know he he should have some home training. Sometimes it's not there. Um,
Y'all, I ain't ate today. Let's be
okay.
clear. I haven't
Well,
eaten anything
well, let's
today.
stay on topic so we can
I'm
finish.
just saying, raised by
Okay.
wolves. I'm starving. I'm dying over here.
Okay. Can you turn your camera back on? You know, I feel like,
I didn't turn it off.
well, I don't see you.
Yeah, I didn't turn it off.
Well, you clicked off, you know, if you would use your computer and not your cell phone. But anyway, y'all, um, so I want y'all to go into 2022 with looking at where your vision is. If you haven't completed a vision board, make sure you do a vision board. Things are not really dreams until you write it down. Go back and check out Pastor Carter's service that he preached tonight about there has to be a fourth leg. The fourth leg on a relay team is always your strongest and your fastest. This was the fourth quarter this year. Finish strong tonight. Start the new year off at a steady pace and finish what you started this year. And my final piece on that is check out Brian Carter and check out Michael Todd if you need a little motivation, because I'm going into the new year with my faith talk. So if you haven't heard his series, get on TikTok and type in faith talk. It'll come in. He has a little beat to it. But 2022 is the year of my faith talk. Pull up the podcast will return. That's my faith talk. Situationship will have more guests. That's my faith talk. Mr. Shaw, what you got for the people? They can't see you.
Man, pull up. Happy New Year. Can't wait to see y'all next year.
Okay. Well, guys, that's what we have for you wrapping up this 2021 year. I don't know where Mr. Shaw's visuals went, but until next year, we will return. We will let you know when. We love you. Thank you for being a part of the Pull Up family, supporting and watching. And until next year, we out.
Pull up.